Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our first Q&A for this week, leading up to the second last episode for Game of Thrones Season 7. That's for Episode 6. Oh man, so really enjoyed episode 5. If you guys haven't seen my review, I'll have it in the end videos for this video so you can check it out. As well as I did my predictions video last night for what I think is going to happen in this episode, which is episode 6. Of course, being our kind of big episode for the year, or probably our biggest episode for the year. Episode 4, so far, I think would probably be our most exciting episode that they've done this season. But I'm expecting this episode, episode 6, to probably best it. But we're going to have to see what they've got planned for us, because this is Game of Thrones, and you never know for sure. So this one being 71 minutes, and then the finale, which is episode 7 for this season, the final episode for the season, being over 80 minutes. So we still got, even though it's 2 episodes, it's extended, so it's almost like 3. So very exciting stuff. Can't wait to see how this all works out. And you guys, feel free to send me any other questions you have for this week, because really, we only have a couple weeks left for this season, and we'll make videos for Season 8, of course, after the season ends. But really, you know, this is where it's at right here. This is what it's all about, is Episode 6, our second last episode of the season for Game of Thrones. Those are usually the best. So in this one, we'll start with giving our thoughts on the note that Arya found in Episode 5. So this one came in from Blaine Spell, as well as a few other people who said, the note Arya found was the note Sansa wrote to Robb telling him to surrender to Joffrey. Cersei made her write it. Balish wanted her to find it. He's trying to cause chaos between Arya and Sansa. I'll also put a link in the description to VanityFair.com, where they have a bit of a write-up on it with some pictures and things like that. So you guys can check it out. That'll be in the description as well. So I want to get my thoughts on that first, because I was not able to in the review, because after watching it once, I saw the name Joffrey, but I didn't see the whole note, because it was pretty fast in the episode. It was pretty hard to see the whole thing. But yeah, so it is, Blaine is right. It is the letter that Sansa had wrote to Robb earlier on in the series to try to convince him to surrender to Joffrey. But, you know, really, Cersei, it was Sansa's hand, but it was Cersei's coaching or coercion, or Cersei's command that she write it in this way. So that's what it was. I mean, obviously it didn't work anyway. Robb, took up arms and went against them. So that's what it was, and very exciting, of course, time in the series. Really loved those episodes a lot. Robb was one of my favorite characters from all of Game of Thrones for sure. And we can't forget about all the bad things Cersei has done throughout the series, all the people she's wronged. Even if she was to kind of turn over a new leaf due to the pregnancy and everything, and somehow get along with the others because they've lost so much power. Because the Lannisters really have lost a lot of power. They've paid their debts. They could, buy a mercenary army, which there's some really good ones out there that we haven't seen in the series yet that are in A Song of Ice and Fire that they could recruit and pay for. So they could do that. Maybe they will. But, even if she does turn over a new leaf, that kind of thing, she's done a lot of wrong throughout the series. And one way or another, she's got it coming to her. She deserves to die for all the things that Cersei has done. So for Balish, I mean, Littlefinger, from the very beginning of the series, you've got Arya following him. He knows it. He sees Arya. He sees how skilled she is. And, like he told Sansa, fight everywhere, everything, everyone, all the time. Be ready no matter what. Be that chess player where no matter what move you make, you're prepared for absolutely any move your opponent makes, and you know what they're going to do, and you try your best to, avoid any opportunity that they could gain the advantage, and while you gain the advantage over them versus all of your opponents, whoever they may be. So this is a pretty cool one. And it fits right into character with Balish and what he does, right? What Littlefinger does, right? So Arya thinks she's getting one over on him. She thinks that she's following him. She's figuring out what he's up to, his schemes and everything. And he knows this, so he plants it. He plants the note so that she does find it, and then ensures that she does afterwards. So she's watching him, but really he's watching her. So he sets her up like this. which is definitely going to cause a rift, as if there wasn't already one. There already is one between Arya and Sansa. Even back to the first season, when they were younger, they used to fight. They bicker like sisters. They didn't really get along together. Arya's more like a tomboy type. Sansa's like, you know, the pretty one who's going to marry the rich guy or whatever, marry the you know, person from respectable house, or the prince or the king or whatever. So with with that going on, of course, that hasn't really changed. Even though they've grown up, it's still really a similar situation. Even when they start to spend some time around each other again, now they're happy to see each other, but at the same time, they're two very different people, and they're just totally. One's like an assassin warrior, the other is like a fair maiden type of powerful leader for the North. So, yeah, definitely the two don't see eye to eye. With him, allowing this revelation to come, so controlling the information and giving Arya something that she probably doesn't want to know and probably doesn't want to see. No doubt she would be upset about this, and it would probably cause even more of a rift between her and Sansa, which it looks like is what Balish wants. Probably also because maybe he's a bit afraid of Arya. He's seen what Arya can do. Brienne can beat just about anybody, and Arya at her age is messing with her. To even be able to mess with her at her age is unbelievable. Imagine what Arya is going to become in like 10 years. She could be one of the greatest fighters ever, in this universe. So, getting started at such a young age and being so ready, so young, so good already. So it's interesting stuff, and I just really feel like it's totally within character that when she thinks she's got one over on Balish and she's sneaking around, she's figuring out information, really he's getting over on her, and that's Balish, right? And that's what he does. He's a master, man, absolutely. And he's another villain that's in there in the series from the very beginning that Varys has said, he's scary, man. He's very scary. Tough to beat for sure. So we'll see what happens in the North and how this all works out and what it causes. Really crazy stuff. So we'll see what Balish has planned overall and how this whole thing works out. Write your comments below, guys. Let me know how you think this will turn out. Predictions, not spoilers. Simba Tre says, bro, who else was like, fuck, when they revealed Littlefinger was watching Arya? So yeah, it's absolutely a twist. He's doing it, not her. She thinks she's got him figured out when really it's totally in his favor. He's giving her what he wants her to see. Liam NN says, I feel like I work all week just for 1 hour of Game of Thrones. That's true. I feel that way too a lot of times, man. Whether it be Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead or whatever show is on. A lot of times when I get bored at work, I really just I can't wait to see a new episode. And that's why, I really hope that HBO has something planned for us when Game of Thrones ends, because I feel like this universe they've created with the Game of Thrones world based off A Song of Ice and Fire is really a universe that doesn't have to be limited to just Game of Thrones. I mean, you could argue, you could say, well, after they ran out of material with Game of Thrones, the writing hasn't been as good as it was before because you don't have George R. R. Martin's work to base it off of. They probably have his plots, most likely, but they don't have all the conversation, everything written out for them because he hasn't written it all yet. But they probably have his general storyline and plots of how things were going and where he was going to kind of end it off, and then they've been able to kind of, I would think, kind of mold it from there and create an ending for Game of Thrones that may not necessarily be the same as A Song of Ice and Fire, but probably somewhat similar, I want to say, to where George R. R. Martin is going with A Song of Ice and Fire. But I think that this universe has more in it. If you look at the ratings per season, you go from almost nobody at the beginning of the series. Every season just tick, 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 tick to this season, with the premiere having over 10 million views on a subscribed network. That is really incredible, guys. I mean, if you think about that, subscribed network, you got to pay to see it. 10 million people pay to HBO to get to watch Game of Thrones. That is incredible. I mean, so they would be foolish in every sense of the word not to have something. But yeah, I really look forward to Game of Thrones. I'm hoping they have more for us, and I'm an optimist. I think that if they put enough money into it, they put enough work into it, I'm not saying that a spinoff could be as good as Game of Thrones in its prime, like I'm talking end of season 6 prime. you know, still I think that it could be really good. You know, it could be really good. So really going to miss the show when it's over. But, you know, there'll be other stuff too. And I'm right there with you, Liam, for sure. As I know a lot of you guys are as well too. Not a Troll 11 says, is it possible Cersei is lying about being pregnant? Personally, I don't think so. It seems to me like at this time, Cersei doesn't give an F. She doesn't care. So if, you know, I don't see her trying to manipulate Jaime in that way. I think she views herself as the top dog right now, even though, of course, you know, the stuff with Daenerys, she knows how strong Daenerys is now, and Daenerys has performed a show of strength. I still think Cersei is very cunning, very clever, and really could still pull this thing out. We'll have to see how it all shakes down in the end. But I don't think she would lie about something like that just to try to manip Jaime in some way. I don't think she needs to. It's just, it doesn't seem to matter to me. I mean, she just tell Jaime if she wants to do something, because he's scared of her too, you know. Like, it's not like she's the one wearing the pants in that relationship, I think. Jacob Martinez, Trev, what if the Night King is actually Morales? You're thinking, frick. Jacob, go screw yourself, man. Oh, that's, yeah, jerk. ProtossX says, Trev, killing Dickon was wrong. He had a lot of fans. Like, what? No, he didn't. Maybe like a couple, you know. I mean, you know, a lot of... Come on, he didn't have a lot of fans, brother. Maybe a few. Come on now. The Big Bang Theory Sheldor says, man, that episode was definitely not filler. No Game of Thrones episode is filler in my opinion, but I hope the spin-offs can be this epic so it feels like Game of Thrones is still kind of there. And I'm right there with you, dude. I hope that that's what they can capture with it. And I have faith. I think they'll be able to do it. You know, it's better than nothing. Even if it's not that good, even if it's like a mediocre show, we'll be disappointed, but we won't be zeroed. If they don't create anything after that, it's zeroed. It's you're dropping your fan base. And that's disrespectful, I think, to fans. That's very disrespectful. So that's, you know, that's not what they're going to do. You know, Game of Thrones, HBO is going to continue with it, and I'm really happy to hear that. But yeah, Game of Thrones has almost no filler in it all the way through. It has very little filler in the series. There's only a few, you know, parts of the series that were really extended out. Some of the stuff in the beginning, seasons like 4, the stuff with Mormont, not Jorah, but his dad, for example, with Crasters and Carl Tanner and that. There was a few episodes there that were total add-ins. So you could technically call them filler, but I thought it was great too. So I didn't complain at all. Carl Tanner I thought was an awesome villain with the dual knives and stuff. You know, I'm a pretty easy guy to satisfy with regards to filler. You can do filler with me as long as you throw in enough action, maybe you hurt a few people or kill a few people in the series, and you make it really exciting. I won't complain about filler. You know, really, for me, filler is like parts where they put almost no budget into something, and you have people just walking around in the woods or doing something like that all day with nothing happening. That to me is filler. Last one will be from Blaine Spell. It's not a question, but he says, Trav, pump out as many Game of Thrones videos as possible. The season's almost over. So, yeah, we'll be doing, brother. I mean, there's only so many things we can discuss, but, yeah, I'm going to definitely make as many Game of Thrones videos as we can with this second last season, and, of course, last season with Season 8 going. Really going to miss the show, but, yeah, we'll produce as many videos as I can for you guys as we get closer. Now, if you want to see another video tomorrow, you guys got to send me some good questions, though. So send me some questions in the comments below, or just fun comments or whatever, and maybe I can have another video for you guys tomorrow. Check out the review and the predictions if you didn't see it, and if you like this video, guys, please, as always, I appreciate it. Please thumb up the video below. Please share it. Please favorite it. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for all your support. You can subscribe at the bottom left to join us. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.